Hey friends, it is Tuesday, January 3rd. We are proceeding on to the third day of the Three Rivers Challenge, and it's 3:15 in the afternoon. Before I start dinner, because I'm not quite ready to do dinner yet, I've been thinking about what we're gonna eat over these next few weeks. Usually like laying in bed at nighttime is kind of my thing, right before I go to sleep. I really start thinking about, what do I want to eat? What do we have? What can I make? And I don't want to make just the same old things. And I know you don't want me to see, you don't want to see me make the same old things either. So last summer we bought an entire pig, and I've talked about this before in previous videos, but we bought an entire pig and have all of that meat butchered in different cuts that we preferred. And one of the things that we've got, and we've got a few of them, is a ham. This is called a pork fresh ham roast. And so I have never cured and smoked a ham on my own. I don't necessarily think many people have, but it's something that I want to try. So I am going to get a brine going here on the counter, get it on the stove, because you got to boil everything to dissolve the sugar and the salt. And then we're going to put the ham in it and put it in the refrigerator for 7 to 10 days, making sure it's fully submerged in the brine. And then in about 7 to 10 days, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to smoke it on our pellet smoker, and hopefully we have a delicious ham that we can then, I can make different meals from, we can eat from, right, during the challenge. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get a brine together and cure a ham. So while that is on the stove and dissolving the sugar and the salt, right, I'll bring that to the boil, get everything dissolved, let it cool, shove my little ham roast in here, and make sure it's submerged, put it in the fridge for 7 to 10 days, and then we'll smoke it. So that's all I'm going to show in regards to that process. When I smoke it, I'll bring you along for the ride for that. I wanted to show you the sandwich loaf I made. So I baked this morning. This is a sourdough loaf. It didn't quite rise as much as I had hoped, so it's kind of a wah, 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 dud loaf. But I really appreciate the comments and the support that I've gotten so far from the video that I just did yesterday. So I love the encouraging comments, so thank you. It means a lot to me. So I think what I'm gonna do, because a lot of you were really interested in this bread challenge as well, I will put a link down below to Little Farm Folks Instagram page, and if I can link the specific post, that's the link I'll put down in there, so that you can see the different breads that for each month of 2023. Also, what I will do for January is I will do 2 videos in January for sandwich bread. One sourdough and then one yeast. And that way you can kind of decide which is your preference, what do you like to make. Maybe you want to learn to make one or the other. And so this is just what it is for me and my family, but I'll do a video or 2 videos in January to do some sandwich bread, and maybe I can continue that out throughout the 2023 year as well, along with the challenge, and kind of going through this challenge with you and making the different things. Just a thought. All right, guys, this is also something that I'm going to show you that is brand new to me. It may make some of you squeamish, so if it does, I apologize. Go ahead and fast forward. But the whole part of this challenge is using what you got, right? And just like we had purchased a whole hog last summer or either early summer or late spring, we purchased half of a cow. And we expect, when we've been eating through 2022, right? And we expect it to last all of 2023 as well. It was a great investment for our family and for our meat. With that, we're asked, right, when you purchase a large portion of an animal or a whole animal, do you want the organs? And we said yes. I said yes. I say we, I'm including my husband. I really said yes. I didn't ask him. I just said yes because we are not in the practice of eating the organs. However, I know that they are some of the organs, the liver specifically, is full of vitamins and is very good for you, right? Our grandparents and great-grandparents didn't eat liver and onions for nothing. Not that I want to go eat liver and onions. It's just not on my palate for the season in my life. But I don't want to let this go to waste. So I have a lot. I have a beef liver from the quarter cow we got in 2021. Yep, so this has got to be used. And then I have 4 packages of beef liver. It's just in smaller, different butcher, smaller packages. 4 packages of the beef liver from the half cow we got in 2022. Then also at the end of 2021, we bought an entire lamb from the same farm that we get our beef from. All regenerative agriculture, ethically raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, you know, all of the good stuff. Such an amazing farm. So I have lamb liver and lamb heart. What I don't have is a freeze dryer. Not yet. Someday. That's just not in our budget for this time in our life, but someday we'll have a freeze dryer. So what I've been researching is that I can dehydrate these. My goal is to dehydrate all of this meat. I'm going to thaw it. It's frozen. It's rock hard right now. I'm going to thaw it in the fridge overnight. And then I'm going to chop it into smaller pieces and put it in my dehydrator at around 165 to 170 degrees. And it's going to go just probably all night or all day, depending upon when I do this. And then I'm going to put it in my Vitamix and grind it into a powder, a fine powder. And I may make capsules. I have one of those little pill machines to make capsules to take the nutrients, the powder. But I also think I'm going to just have a mason jar with some of it in my spice cabinet and judiciously, sporadically add some to soups and stews and casseroles and meatloafs, right? Just to add in more of those vitamins. So totally different for us, a little radical depending upon where you are in your health journey. But I don't not want to let any of this go to waste. So I'm going to thaw it, and tomorrow we'll tackle the chopping and the dehydrating. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. Eyes are watering a bit. I'm cutting those onions. Still the 3rd day, January 3rd. And you may have figured it out from what I was doing on the counter here, but we are having sausage with onions and peppers. So I have 3 packages of this mild Italian pork sausage, and this is from the same farm that we get our milk and our eggs from, and I had bought these this past summer, and I think I had bought more than 3, and they were so good. So these are 3 left. We're going to use them up. It's going to make 6 meals, possibly actually 7 or 8 meals, because if you've been following along on the channel at all, you know that when I make dinner, I always make leftovers for lunch for the children. They always come first, and then if there's any leftover from that, me and my husband get our lunch leftovers as well. So between 6 and 8 meals today, between these 12 links of sausage, I've got onions that I was chopping, and then I have a bunch of chopped peppers. These were in our freezer, and these are peppers that we grew in our own garden last summer. So they're just gonna get thrown in the skillet also. And I have a bunch of yellow potatoes that I'm gonna fry up separate and kind of make like a hash with some of the onions of that also. And then sauerkraut, because I did a bunch of sauerkraut this last fall, October, November-ish. So I got some Guinness mustard that I made in the fridge, so it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be like a comfort meal tonight. I'm craving that this evening, so dinner's going. Dinner is served. Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 4th, the 4th day of the Three Rivers Challenge. It's 9:13 in the morning. My kids are safely at their track out camps. They are in year-round school, so they're tracked out right now. My husband's at work. I took off work this week. I go back next week. So I am enjoying a very quiet and peaceful morning. So I've got my mocha pot on the stove to make an espresso, and I was just getting my breakfast together and I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. I am making a breakfast hash. Now I've been making this hash almost every day now for almost 4 weeks. Side note, I've been on the Whole30 plan since December 9th, 10th, or 11th, one of those days. And so my 30 days is almost up. And for those of you unfamiliar, Whole30 is basically 30 days of no alcohol, sugar, gluten, grains. Let me start over. Alcohol, sugar, gluten, grains, dairy. Yeah. I had some slip-ups over the holidays, but wanted to close out strong. So this is my breakfast hash. So basically I've got some onions, carrots, potatoes in here. I'm gonna fry these up and add in some over medium eggs and some home fermented hot sauce that I made last year from our homegrown peppers, and enjoy breakfast with my espresso. So while that's on the stove, the agenda today is to get the livers and the heart chopped up and in my dehydrator today. And I was looking at my dehydrator. I have an Excalibur 9 tray, and it goes up to 155 degrees. So that's as high as I'm gonna go. But I think you wanna get the meat to between 165 and 170. So I'll just check the temperature to it once I immediately take it out and I believe it's done. It's probably gonna take close to 24 hours in the dehydrator. I'm gonna get that going. We're having salmon tonight with some pesto and roasted cauliflower and carrots as a side. Oh, and my lunch is leftovers from last night. The kids already have their lunch with them at their camp, and that's the leftovers from last night too. So, oh, and for breakfast they had a bowl of cereal and hard-boiled eggs. So yeah, so far day 4 is off strong. All right, I am going to get my breakfast cooked. I'm gonna eat and relax and enjoy this time before I've got to do some things around the house. And I'll come back when I start on the organ meat. It's that time. It's time to work with the livers. Yeah, there's more than one liver here, and the heart. I've got my dehydrator trays here on the counter. I've got all of the livers and heart out of the plastic packaging. Most of the liver is already sliced up in some strips. The bigger pieces I'll slice. The heart I'm going to slice. This is totally new for me, guys, so bear with me if I'm seeming a little squeamish. This is really new for me, but I'm trying to use everything we've got. And honestly, I'm a huge believer in respecting the animal that has involuntarily given up its life for us, right, to nourish our bodies. And I do believe in using all of the parts to the best of our abilities. So this is part of it. This is the lamb heart. And just looking at it, how fascinating is that? All right, it is time to get dinner started. Like I had mentioned earlier, we're having pesto salmon with some roasted carrots and cauliflower. I've got one fresh cauliflower that was in the refrigerator dying a very slow death. It needed to be used up. So hence tonight it gets used up. I've already cut up some carrots. I kind of cut them on the angle diagonally. And I have an entire salmon fillet from Alaska. So we have a friend who is a fisherwoman, and she lives half of the year out in western North Carolina and half of the year in Alaska. And when she's in Alaska, she is a legit commercial fisherwoman. And so you can pre-order with her different cuts of salmon, smoked salmon. She does cod and maybe a couple of other types of fish. And I've been ordering from her for probably 8 or 9 years now in a row. And so it is the best salmon in the world. And then so she has it processed up there in Alaska, vacuum seals it, has it shipped back to North Carolina, and then she does her drop points all over the state. Phenomenal. So we are having salmon. I also have these jars of pesto. I made these this past summer. And it's from basil, with basil, garlic from our garden. And I have them in the freezer. I had 9 of these, so I have 8 left. And I'm just gonna put the salmon on some parchment paper on a sheet pan, rub it with that pesto, and then we're gonna roast the cauliflower and the carrots together. So the oven's heating up to 450. Great timing. Dinner is served.